The truck that just keeps on giving. So I'm going to give you guys the rundown. Hopefully this is, probably won't be the last video, but we got the factory common rail oil pressure sensor in there. We went through, verified the crank sensor, all that stuff working. We did add a ground up to the battery. These batteries are actually shot at this point. Like, you leave the key on for like 10 minutes to do tests, it kills them. So these are both under warranty. I verified everything has power up here. And I've come down to the OBD port. Now, you guys saw when I plugged the PCM in, the new PCM, like all the lights, now everything works. But there's no voltage to the bus connection down here. Now, it's not the wire, because I went and I did a continuity test all the way up, and I checked the continuity on it, and it is up to the PCM, and we have connection. Like, the wire's good and all that. The PCM is not putting out the bus signal to the OBD port, and my scanner is still not connecting to the PCM. All the wiring has been fixed and repaired. We're going to get everything loomed up and covered in. Yes, I know people bitching about the butt connectors, but this isn't a done project yet. I'm not going to throw everything together nice until we know that everything is taken care of. So what we're thinking is the new PCM also has a problem. The reason we think that, this came from the 2009 or the 2005 truck. It's been sitting since 2009. So, I mean, it's had a good 13 years, something like that, of just sitting. We're going to send this one out and get it tested, make sure everything, see if everything works or whatnot. And just, I don't think it does, especially because it's not putting out the bus signal. The gauges aren't working. Like, something along the lines fried the first PCM, whether it was all of the wires that were broken and shot, like they were touching together and all that. So that's probably what fried the first PCM. We get that. We understand it. The PCM was fried. Put a second PCM in it. We're thinking that at this point, it's just the second PCM is also, it's not fried, but it's not giving the connection to go to the gauges and read the communication. I also went through here. We have the external voltage regulator in. I've kind of gone through the wiring and checked over everything. It's not perfect. That's what we're thinking. Hopefully it's something stupid, but it's at this point where I've gone through everything. I also went through and cleaned the grounds, because the grounds were put over paint. So I cleaned all that stuff off, threw them all back on, and wouldn't you know it, still don't have gauges. But these batteries are down to like 11.8 now. Like, this thing won't even crank now because I killed it just by leaving the key on for a couple of minutes. These batteries would definitely fail a draw test, but you guys will see no voltage, none of that stuff. So we'll get the PCM pulled. We'll get it sent out. We'll go from there. We have another project coming in tomorrow. We have that 03 12-valve swap. So we'll be doing a bunch of these. If you guys have any 12-valve swaps you want to bring in, don't bring me anything with electrical issues like this. Like, this is just brutal. I mean, I'll still do it and everything, but like, the more, like, this kind of like prepared me for some of the things. So if it is a failed PCM, we know what the connections should be and aren't. We're waiting on need the connection for the boost line there. That's why that's hanging up. But I'm going to get that PCM pulled, start doing some research, and figure out where to send this one, and we'll go from there. All right, so this thing was supposed to be in here yesterday, but, things changed. So today is Sunday. We're going to be working on, I told you guys that this truck was coming back for some extras, goodies, and also get his parts. And a lot of guys got offended in the last video. We had some fun doing Josh's input shaft. A lot of guys got upset that, we were just having fun, having a good old time. It wasn't customer work or anything. It was for Josh. But I figured if that offended you guys, I wanted to show you what we have going on with this thing. Can you explain what this is?
That's my extra fuel.
I love it. So that's how much oil. This is all waste oil. I see it slid around a little bit, but this is all waste oil. This is how much is left. We're gonna try to fill this thing back up to the top. We got to do governor springs, idle adjustment, some turbo gaskets, just a bunch of little things to it, and a bunch of extras that needed to be done, but we didn't have time last time. So we're gonna finish everything up, finish the mirrors up. So we have about probably 3 days total now, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, to get everything done. For those that didn't like the fact that we were running the truck on oil, it saves you some money. So how much did it cost you to come out here to me?
60 bucks.
60 bucks. And that was on everything but diesel.
No, I ran out of oil, so I had to put 60 bucks in the tank, which was 11 gallons.
Yeah, really.
To get the rest of the way to collect some oil from a friend.
And then I got plenty more oil for you too. So I probably got 100 gallons.
So 60 bucks, and it's been, I don't know, 1,200 miles.
That is so filthy.
You want to show how we recycle it? We go hook the pump up and...
Oh, we'll do that later, I guess. But yeah, so we got a bunch of stuff to do to it, and like your system back here. Just no gooseneck or fifth wheel attachments, but he's not worried about that right now. So we just went over, checked the voltages on this too in the OBD port. The new PCM was not putting a bus output to the OBD port, and we couldn't connect to it. So this has the PCM sent out. Figure I'd let you guys know we did finally find the issue. The new PCM was a lot better than the old PCM, but it still had one issue. So we sent that out. This should be done probably in about 2 weeks. We'll have the new part for that. So in the meantime, we have this, and then we got like 2 or 3 trucks coming in this week, like later this week, that are either getting dropped off for the next week or whatever. So we're going to be swapping the valve covers out, the new PCV system. It did trigger a little bit of a leak right there, so we're going to replace that gasket with a proper gasket. Figure out this coolant issue. I'm going to go through, diagnose this, and see why it just goes right to hot. If we have to tear some loom apart, we tear some loom apart, not a big deal. Might end up getting rid of some connections like we did on that other truck, because like this, it doesn't need that. Doesn't need a lot of things. But we did keep the grid heater. We're going to be changing fuel filters out, replacing connectors that just aren't needed. Also, the return spring broke on that. But other than that, I mean, truck's been running, driving. It's worked. It's used. So we'll get it done this week, and I'll let you guys know we go from there. All right, so we got this guy all mounted up nice and pretty. Instead of just the 1 bolt, it's the 2, just like we did that truck over there. And what we're finding, so battery positive. This is for the coolant temp sensor. Mind you, no sensor plugged in or any of that. And if you want to hold that up. Both sides are putting out 12.6 volts. Which is basically exactly what the battery is. So these should only go up to 5 volts. This should be reading that sensor, and this will go up to 5 volts. So that should not be 12 volts. That explains why every time the key is turned on, it kicks that over. All right, so in hopes to diagnose this guy here. So this, if I pull it out, if I can pull it out, the plug itself unplugged is putting out 12 volts. If I put the positive there, both sides are putting 12 volts. We unplugged the PCM, only one side's putting 12 volts. It should not be above, what we say, in between like 0.5 and 5. So a cold engine, it should be all the way up to 5, and then, so this, yeah. So unplugged the PCM. We got rid of a lot of unnecessary wiring that just isn't needed with the swap. Same thing we did with the other guys, only on this one, we couldn't get the pins out. So we just cut them at the very base. I went through, reloomed the whole harness. I don't know if you guys will see in there. There's, yeah, so reloomed everything all the way back up. Got rid of all the sensors we don't need. Verified with a pinout that we're not going to need these. This is all everything that got pulled out. Here's the others for the injectors and all that stuff. So that stuff can all get thrown away. What was it? The FCA, that got pulled out. Throw that all in the trash. So, yeah, like here's connectors and pins and all that shit. Truck does not physically need, and this truck's never going back to a common rail. Anyway, we're gonna wait until we get the new, we got lights coming for that. So we'll pull that and see if that has anything to do with it. At this point, I've already gotten that loose. We're gonna be putting new governor springs in it. I think the old set might be binding up. So we're going to put these new governor springs, see how nicely they move in and out. The other ones I feel like we're kind of touching. Big old 22 millimeter socket. Throw that in there, and then we can get to it. Alright, there it is. I got it lined up. I was actually able to spin the motor and see that all at the same time. Get a little better quality. So there she is. We'll pull that out, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So here's the new ones. I'll put that back and show them the ones that came out. This is what I think the issue is, and you need to make sure. See how I think they're buying it because when it came out, they were stuck right in the middle. So I think that's the issue. These can go right in the scrap pile, but that should fall out. If I hold this, that's how that should be. It should be free in the middle. I think that the clearancing on these were poor. So we're just going to throw these right in the recycle tub.
Poor quality.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. You can get these on Amazon. I recommend only getting the brands that have actual ratings, but they're like 20, 30 bucks. These were like 20, 22, something like that. Like, they're not expensive at all. So just get the ones with the good ratings. If anything blows up, you guys will know.
Ready?
I guess. Just remember, neutral, don't make the truck go forward. We're only on a jack.
I'm gonna put on the brake too.
All right, shut her off.
What was the ting?
That was a wrench. It's a 10 mil wrench, went somewhere. All right, day one. Like I said, we're gonna wait with the cluster to verify the sensor up there. So we got the governor springs in already. You noticed the difference right away.
Instantly.
So I'll have him drive it around. We already adjusted the idle. I'll have him drive around, make sure it's consistent. We're going to do the fuel filter, I guess, tomorrow if you can get in at Napa. I'll put the intake back on. So alternator, that's a little nicer. We're going to do the gaskets and all that tomorrow. We're going to adjust the boost so that you can get rid of your contraption down there. I did the same thing on mine. That actually works very well. So yeah, drive it around and let's see how the acceleration is. Because before it would cut out around 2,500.
It was like 23.
Yeah, so this one was better, but it's still like it's still stuck in there. So it's supposed to fall out. Yeah, it hangs up. It's definitely made a huge difference there. I said this thing is just in for follow-up stuff. I already knew he was coming back and got a little bit of black on my face. Tomorrow we'll start doing some of the other stuff. The turbo, we'll get the boost up. I'm gonna leave this stuff here because I'm gonna need it. We got most of the wiring sorted out. All that stuff is out and neat. Took care of this mess down here because the one thing broke off and it was one of the wires was rubbing on a bolt, so that was shortened. Other than that, oh yeah, I fixed I guess the spring fell off right there. So it stayed, so that's fixed. What else we fixed today? Besides getting rid of a ton of wire. Then tomorrow we'll come back at the turbo. Next day, we're gonna be doing the manifold turbo and upping the boost, getting rid of that little vice grip that's on the line. It works, but it's, you know, we can definitely get the boost adjusted. We do want wastegate, so it gets rid of a lot of EGTs, letting the wastegate open, and a lot of drive pressure. So we'll get that taken care of, get the leak fixed right there. We got the correct gasket this time, because last time it was a divided gasket, and yeah, guess it wasn't super happy about being there. So easy fix. This should take about 45 minutes. Will be all right. We got the manifold out. We got a new gasket for it. We're gonna pull the wastegate solenoid off, get that readjusted, tuned for, you know, properly so that it can put out 35 pounds of boost. I think we're leaking a little bit from this guy right here, which is putting oil kind of everywhere. So this thing will need a nice little bath. But to do that, we just have 2 bolts on this, and then there's a clip back there. You guys will see right here. There's that hole right there. So we got to drill that out a little bit so we can loosen this up. We're getting pretty close. We got about an hour and a half left. So we'll get that drilled out. We'll throw some grease in there. And we'll be able to, we'll have to probably put this up, you know, make it adjustable in the truck, but we're going to put it like up to here just about. Getting a little low on fuel. So fixed the leak right there. Looks a little cleaner. New exhaust. We had to fix the stud back there. That stud decided it wanted to snap in half. So all new studs, new nuts, gaskets, all that shit. Adjusted wastegate. So we'll be back to it tomorrow. I see what you have to do. Yeah, I did that at first for a while.
Recycle oil too.
Yeah. Yeah.
People never believe it. You see,
this all started with Chris, and he's gonna see it too, because it started that day we poured transmission fluid in my truck, and it turned out to be coolant. That was great. Puppy, don't you run? Don't you? Ah.
There you go. That's your auto.
Yeah, that's how I've been doing it too on mine. I need to get one of the auto shut-off nozzles. But yeah, you got to sit there and watch it because it'll overflow on you.
No, it won't. I can hear it. It's so slow that you can hear it. And then you just pop the cap right out.
Yeah.
It's a little low.
I've overflowed it a couple of times.
I haven't overflowed it yet.
Other than that, I mean, we just got to fix. So we got the next steps are going to be the coolant sensor, wire the mirrors in. I have a whole list. So, I mean, lights in the dash because those never worked.
Those should be here tonight.
Yeah, those will be at my house tonight. So we'll bring them in. And then fuel filters, stuff like that. Looks exactly like mine. I mean, you should start a channel and show people the disasters of a 12-valve swap. Because, like, I mean, it'll run, do everything you need it to, but it's always those oil leaks. Always. You can never keep these things. Like, this thing has, like, a brand new looking 12-valve in it. I give it 10,000 miles, and the underside's going to be oil. That's still a nice truck. We're waiting on that. We got one more getting dropped off today. I gotta wait till 12:30. Once he gets here at 12:30, we'll probably plop him right here. And then this one, we're trying to get this thing done tomorrow. Travel dog. Travel dog. All right. All the new gauges, the lights are in. You guys saw that. We deleted the check engine light. The check gauges light will fix when the voltage issue and this issue is fixed. And then new lights in the console. And then the gauges all match that. There you go. Nice. And then those also dim. Sweet. That was one of the things that needed fixed. We'll throw this whole thing back together. It was not the instrument cluster. We pulled this out and still checked, and they're still getting 12 volts to both sides of the sensor for some reason. So that's why that is reading hot. So the instrument cluster's fine. All right. Got the valve covers and the breather on. These were sold like long ago. I just needed to get them on. All that stuff's on. We just need to like maybe lower that down a little bit. Yeah, valve adjustment's done. We just went through, did all of that. And we just have a little bit more things on the list. Actually, I think that's it in here. Besides getting a oil pressure sensor, aftermarket one, and an aftermarket coolant temp sensor. All right. Wiring for mirrors. Got them all through here, both sides over there as well. So I went through this little hole here, get that all nice and stitched in. Through here, and get the light on, there you go. So through here, through this guy, all through here, and that's gonna end up going in through here, down. We'll have to go and loop it over to those as well. Red will be the turn signal. And then we have white was reverse light, I believe. Blue was park, and then brown was puddle. So puddle, we're going to put them up to there, up to the dome lights. Reverse to the transmission, these to the headlights. And then park lamps can just, I believe there's a spot over there we can grab them too. So I'm going to get this all hooked back up, throw them back together, show you what it looks like afterwards. Here's where we're at, so you can see the piece that's in here. We got all 4 wires coming through, up, and then back up, and right in there. So we'll get the door panel thrown on, speaker thrown back in. Now we have these, we can loom these and do whatever we need to do with them. Get them to where they need to go, make them look pretty, never see them again. We got it to come out through the hole in there, so we'll route accordingly. All right, so we got everything but the puddle lights wired in. Apparently the 03s are different. So we couldn't get the puddle lights wired in because the top lights, even if you turn them on, it just completes the circuit as a ground. So we got everything wired in, mirrors. I'm gonna go through next time. Here, let me see. Look at that. Next time we'll get everything loomed and water protected. We're kind of out of time today. All the cab lights work. We're gonna check some things out on this. Next time we're also gonna get wired in an oil pressure gauge, an aftermarket one, because I always recommend it to everybody. I know the 4th gens and new 5th gens, they come with it factory where you can actually see the gauge. On these older trucks, the only way that light comes on is if it's like 5 PSI. So it's kind of obnoxious. We also found that the number 1 and number 2, now keep in mind this was a mystery motor, but number 1 and number 2 cylinders are running cooler than the back 4. So those were all running at 240 and these were all at 190 to 200. So it also kind of feels like there's a miss ever so slightly. So I think possibly it could be a pump or injectors. This thing always, ever since I put it together, always has a hesitation above 2,500. We put the new governor springs in it. It idles now very minty, way better than it was before. but we think it could be a pump up top, and then I don't know down below. You can definitely hear that it's kind of misfiring a little bit below. So number 1 and number 2 cylinder. But as of now, this thing's done until the next time. We just, like I said, we just kind of run out of time. We've got 2 trucks outside to take care of, and then another 2 or 3 coming in the next week. So you guys are killing it with the response on that post I made. How many miles did this have on it when you got it off of me?
168 or something.
168. Let's see. So you got just about 10,000 miles on it. So you're just about due for an oil change.
Come close.
So that's pretty much going to do it. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. We're booked up for the next 2 weeks. Someone said about our projects that don't get on camera, like stuff like this. This is body work that we have going on. And like there's a bunch of other stuff that comes in for like inspections, oil changes, ball joints. I don't know, you name it. I mean, I think there was a Ford Explorer in here the other day. But it's just one of those, like, we don't show stuff like this because it's kind of boring and nobody wants to see it. Like there is always stuff coming in and out, and there is always something to do, but at the end of the day, a lot of that stuff doesn't end up on camera because I don't want to kill my analytics. So besides that, any of the diesel stuff I will show to you. I have 2005 outside with a G56 that we're going to be doing a clutch and some other stuff on. We have that white one outside. We have a 2015 coming in for injectors, a 97 coming in for a manual swap here in the next 2 weeks. And then there was another one I can't remember. I know Josh's truck's coming in, so look forward to that. He's got like 550 horsepower worth of fueling and turbo stuff coming. So we're going to get this thing cleaned up. And then if you guys have any suggestions for him for next time, let me know down in the comments if there's anything you guys want to see done to this thing. Probably, what, you think another month or something? Probably be back?
Yeah, probably about the middle to end of November.
Care to answer on how the Hotshot market is? And
it's complete garbage.
Garbage?
Don't get in right now.
Yeah,
Don't get in right
I kind of said the same thing. Like people were wondering, oh, you did Hotshot for 2 weeks and then you stopped. Why?
Because there's no money in it. You can make more working at McDonald's than you can doing Hotshot. Right?
So my gross revenue for the 2 weeks that I was out was $4,500. Granted, I'm home every day, but that's $4,500. That was my gross.
Spending fuel.
Well, yeah, we broke even on everything. Like, I go out to work, like, yeah, the analytics do good. So the shop, we did $14,900 in revenue last month, and $4,500 of that was Hotshot, $750 was YouTube. So that goes to show people stuff that we don't film, but also that's where the money's at. So the shop's killing it. I'm going to have to keep up with it. I know it kills the analytics a little bit, but hopefully you guys like this thing. I mean, it's cool. It's a Cummins. It leaks oil. There's a 12 valve. It leaks oil. That's the only downside. We have found, if you guys are going to do a 12 valve swap, be prepared for oil leaks, because this is a mystery motor. We have no idea how many miles are on it. It came from a previous owner. Then another guy bought it. He passed away, and then you bought it. I mean, this side of the motor's clean. It's just, oh man.
Perfect for them northern winters with all the oil leaks.
Oh yeah.
Frame will never get.
And how much money are you spending on fuel right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I drove all the way out here for $60.
Yeah, so it's like, that's where it's worth it. It's like, yeah, it's a little, a little dirty, but once the fuel prices come down, this would make a nice, hell of a nice mobile rig or local rig.
Miles away.
1,100 miles.
1,100 miles.
$60.
$60.
Yeah. Yeah, it works out. Be cool to get a did I put the spare tire up for you?
Yep.
Okay. I was going to say, if the spare tire wasn't there, it'd be cool to have a secondary, like a 5,500 fuel tank back there.
It would be.
Yeah, on top of the aux tank. Be pretty golden, but or not. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. Go down, link in the description for mud flap, and that'll be it. So hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.